I wanted to just jump on here and talk about the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, the author and mastermind behind the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and just the experience of being able to attend a Davos event as a minority girl. I think that's really cool. The fact they had an equality panel. I know many people are very distrusting of these massive events. However, I will say I'm not complaining that I was able to attend and just to learn. I'm someone who is a pervasively, almost obnoxious hyperlexic reader. I've been that way since out of utero. So I do want to speak on this. I think people put way too much emphasis on what others are doing, that many lack preparations. And from preparations, I mean food, water, and more so a macroeconomic picture of what's going on in the globe. For example, many people I saw were talking about the World Economic Forum, and I've just wondered, where are all of you in relation to China? Where's the debate I'm not seeing happen just for the past several months for China, Evergrande, the second Chinese holdings, property holdings? There's immediate matters is it devalues the dollar when you default and you're not able to pay back. Not to mention, China has stockpiled half of the world's food supply. Grain, you can fact check the fuck out of me, guys. I know that this might be newsflash, but I think that so many people right now are so hyper focused on a certain billionaire that power that everyone should find to be an existential threat. Should flip anybody out. As someone who is a Jewish girl, I find it very uncomfortable, the silence towards a country that has concentration camps. I love the people, love the people. As an electron house, amazing, like just anything that is of Asia, I love you. But we have to talk about President Xi Jinping and what I perceive to be a modern day Mao. And I don't know if that's triggering or not triggering, but it's something that I find so ironic that Americans are not talking about the pervasive, egregious actions. For example, the semiconductor shortage. Taiwan was having, there was some beef, if you will, China going to Taiwan, but several Taiwan companies did sell to China that own semiconductors. And I do know that we do have a military presence in Taiwan, a very small one. But as someone who loves the people of Hong Kong, I do. I love Hong Kong. I was so disappointed that America did not fight harder for Hong Kong's sovereignty. However, now that we do know what's going on in Hong Kong and China, using the digital yuan and what I want to say beta phase two on the index, and watching the Chinese companies delist off the New York Stock Exchange has enough for me saying, hey guys, like, why don't you guys like look and see who might be actually doing damage? While interest rates in America need to be hiked, I'm going to say something extraordinarily offensive. Our inflation has gotten so ridiculous because goods, etc., from whatever the illness that shall not be named, the supply chain shortages, everything under the sun. The Federal Reserve acted like pussies. Jerome Powell, I'm so sorry. I genuinely believe I could be a better monetarist. Again, as an Alan Greenspan girl, I find him to be an extraordinarily brilliant man. Again, no one is perfect. And again, the Hank Paulson, men I look up to, really great, awesome Jewish men in finance that are very, very intellectually sound. And one thing I have to say is interest rates matter with inflation, but here's the caveat. If they say inflation's at 7%, and let's be real, I would argue that John Williams at shadowstats.com that has inflation at about 15%. I like shadowstats.com for some of you that might want to look at different sources to get a fair balance of what is for a labor shortage. We're seeing stagflation, inflation, hyperinflation. We're the photoshopped version of Venezuela, America. Wake the fuck up. Stop giving a shit about what Bill Gates does, because guess what? At the end of the day, I don't see any of you speaking about the Johns Hopkins event that was predicated in October of 2019. Going into 2020, the information is there. I urge all of you to check out Event 201, because here's the caveat: they're not sitting around wondering what the fuck any of us are doing. They're just not, and that's totally fine. They can do whatever they want. However, America's willful ignorance to want to just simply blame and shame someone for being rich is absurd and a piss poor excuse to be, a failure. As someone who has PTSD, ADHD, like lupus and immunoglobulin deficiency, and a partridge in a pear tree of an enigmatic personality that has always been a square peg in a circle hole that has never fit in, as a counterculture conservative, let me urge all of you, prepare and fucking start focusing on yourself. Do you have food? If the lights went out tomorrow, because let me say this, if we have, there was 2 kids were able to pull the full Ukraine power grid. What suitable batteries? Do you have food? Do you have water? If the electricity grid dropped off, do you have a tangible asset that could be bartered or traded from? Let's prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Because as a CEO, as the first CEO of a first multi-gendered, multi-ethnic fund, Orca Oshi Capital Management, which focuses on equitable opportunities in finance, as contrarians, both my partner and I see an extraordinarily willfully ignorant society, and we're very concerned as friends. You guys are friends to us. I love you all so much. You guys have kept my sound alive when my health's not done well, and we're very concerned because what we're seeing is a trend of what I highly disavow, which is the social media valuation. Ugh, vomit. I think I'm going to make merch that says anti-social media valuation, contrarian investor club, like CEO. Like, I really think I'm going to just make like gender neutral merch, because for those of you that are going on forums or Twitter, instead of opening a book, looking at history, you guys stop partying like it's 1929. At least in 1929, the toaster and the fridge were invented. I cannot think of a fucking thing America makes. And in order to be the top country, we need to make shit, which goes back to me believing that we are a very much in the blockchain technological world. I'm definitely going to delve deeper as I start these conversations where I'm not as overwhelming, and crypto and sure that everyone who follows has factual information, has information that you guys can learn and are applicable, because at the end of the day, if you are not preparing food, water, securities, cash, gold, Bitcoin, all hypotheticals. Again, I'm not giving financial advice. I look at you all as a friend and a family and a global family. I think that the Middle East is about to have the best economy in the world. I do. When this Great Depression hits, I love you. I can't wait to be there. Myself already anyway, so to be able to do so on a broader level with Israel, United Arab Emirates, peace deal, I want to really urge Americans to stop looking at a billionaire and blaming your problems on that, when you should look at China and ask yourself, why is China telling its citizens that they don't even care about to stockpile? Why is China literally why are they taking all of this? Why is China closing its ports? We have only 110 boats off the coast of California. We have the railroads getting robbed. And we are in an economic depression. We had 110,000 restaurants in 2020 close. We have about, I want to say 40 million people on government subsidies in relations to food stamps, health care, things such as that. We've purged about a million jobs plus a month since the pandemic started. And we have the most amount of cash that's ever been in the fucking supply of the United States ever printed in the past 2 years. So when you have more, that devalues things. Hence why gold, Bitcoin, there's a limited supply of gold, there's a limited supply of Bitcoin. I don't like to compare the two because I do believe Bitcoin is valuable based on the technological aspect of being able to make it move. And my partner and I are digital without a bank. And so to be able to, again, curate shows and curate moments where I want to get on and share things with you all of how to use and actually peer-to-peer transactions verified to really incorporate the blockchain. So we're going to do something salacious and sexy, like make it move with us march, digitally get down with us and teach you guys how to actually use it, like the functionality behind the cryptocurrencies and things such as that, because many people don't know how to use it. Most people don't know how to use it. Many people I know who have own exchanges still don't know how to use it, which I'm very lucky that my partner decided to learn cryptographic cybersecurity. But back to everything else, I think you guys need to take your focus off of Klaus Schwab. Let him be. First off, brilliant writer. I urge all of you, and I can attach this too for those who want to read The Fourth Industrial Revolution, for those who want to read The Great Reset. He's an extraordinary author, and a lot of things you guys are not going to discount. It's not insane to talk about a technological revolution. No, not insane to talk about artificial intelligence. It's already here. So I think take the focus away from the conspiratorial shit. Just do it. Okay. As someone who's the CEO of an alternative investment fund, nothing blows my mind more than you giving us Jews more credit than we deserve. However, I mean, I'll take it. It definitely probably helped my esteem more so, made me at least a little bit tougher of a human being, called a lot of negative shit. But really, and look at the true geopolitical threats to, if you're an American, to America. I think most people don't realize that we are being laughed at because we just seem to be weaker. How, like, for example, if I were the United States president, I would have already sent a fuck ton of dynamite in the form of Lockheed Martin with love, Alex Presley to Beijing. Not because I, in any way, shape, or form, have any issue with the people that are. I have a cousin that was adopted from China. My love. Squid Game-ish, just grabbing me. I'm very fortunate and blessed, and we need to remember things like that. What makes America unique is the ability for us to use our voice and to see. Things that I wish to see in finance is people taking personal accountability instead of wishing for the federal government to bail you out. It's never worked. It's never in the history of all of America worked. Tariffs have never worked. They kept the depression, from the the first shindig, 1929. They kept that Great Depression going much longer than it should have been. And I guess I will stop there for tonight. And, again, link down below. Let me know questions, comments, concerns. I'll start putting, I say, influencer codes. There are a couple exchanges in the blockchain digital asset management space that I just adore. The people are wonderful. And I very much feel very comfortable promoting. I would never do anything or suggest, recommend, or even let you guys know what I'm doing if I was not fucking 1,000,000,000,000% behind it. And all I can say is the fiat system is on borrowed time. Paper has no value. And I do think that another discussion for another day is, will the dollar remain the world reserve currency? It's not the end of the world if it does not, but the long-term debt cycle between 50 to 75 years is up. So a lot of questions I have for you all. I schedule for everyone's time, questions, comments, concerns, guests, etc. And like, I'll sit and talk till the cows come home to make sure every single person that I look at who has helped me build a following, I look at you all as friends, and we're going to be writing out the greatest depression in the world together. So we might as well have fun. And my first piece of advice is please don't listen to Elon Musk for anything. Okay. And habag shatim te amo, bisu besu bachi. I love you all. God bless.